Hey guys, how's it going? We are live here. Welcome to the Bags to Riches podcast. I'm Zach Ginn, your host. I am with SteveInvests, aka Steve Daria. He is from Florida, Fort Myers area.
Just a little bit south of there, Bonita Springs, Bonita Beach.
Sweet. And Steve here is going to help talk about all things real estate with us today. He's really going to give us a deep dive on buying foreclosures, REOs. This guy has bought them. He's listed them. He's made money with them. I'm really excited to hear from Steve today and just get to know you a little better.
Right on, Zach. I appreciate you having me.
Sweet. So yeah, guys. So Steve actually, he has a really good YouTube channel called SteveInvests. I recommend you guys always hit him up on there and go give him a subscribe. Show some love for his content, and he's a great guy. So let's get the cliche thing out of the way. How did you get started in real estate?
When I was in college, I was interested in real estate. I've been interested in real estate for a while. Even when I was younger, I was painting houses and even helping my father fix up the houses that we were in. And then when I was in college, I got my real estate license, got my first sale, and I was like, not too bad. So, and the biggest thing was having the ability to really research properties on my own, because I knew I was going to be a real estate investor even at an early age. So I wanted that flexibility. I wanted to dive into it myself. So that was one of the main reasons why I got my real estate license, was to really do my own research and have access to MLS and everything else. And then one thing led to the next. While I was in college, I started helping other people out buy real estate, and then it just became a full-time thing.
Okay. And so you went from there to actually having brokerages and everything. So what's your story with that? And do you still own your brokerage?
Yeah, I got licensed in 2002 and then got my brokers in 2006. And that was the same year we opened up Maxim Realtors, my sister and I. And then we grew that to just over 60 agents, couple offices. And then in 2018, I knew that I wanted to venture out and do other things, and owning a real estate brokerage and having that many real estate agents, you got your hands full with a lot of personalities, a lot of transactions, a lot of dispute resolutions, a lot of contract resolution. I mean, it was rough. So I needed a break. So we listed the brokerage for sale, and pretty quickly, I'd say it was on the market not even 2 months. And we got some partners to buy in. They bought 80% of the company, so my sister and I still retain 10% each, 20%.
Wow. So that's cool. I've never really heard of someone like buying and selling brokerages. I'm not really in that business, but that's awesome. Like, how many agents were you having there at the peak?
Just over 60.
Wow.
And, I was kind of selective as well. There's a lot of dirtbags out there.
Yep.
we went through, we went through these people, and some people left our organization as well. I think real estate in general can be pretty volatile in terms of people going out of the business. It is being in business for yourself. A lot of, some people just can't hack it.
Definitely. So the reason I wanted on here, because you're one of the best guys out here. Your channel is just a library of information. I mean, you help so many people with financial freedom with real estate. You got a big Airbnb business. You got the mobile homes. You got BPOs, REOs. But specifically, I want to talk about foreclosures and how most average investors can buy properties at discounts, because I know a lot of people here on Flip with Rick. They love wholesaling. They expect properties at 60% discounts, but most people don't want to send out mailers and meet people in person and try to lock up deals and deal with all that junk. How can the average real estate investor deal with foreclosure properties? Because in my opinion, I think there's going to be a lot of them in the horizon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I actually just did a video on that. We actually, one of our clients was Blackstone, who was basically previously owned Invitation Homes before they split off, and we sold them like 130 homes in like I don't know, maybe a year and a half, not even, and a lot of those were foreclosure properties. But they just put an article out saying that they're waiting on the sidelines. I mean, they're still making offers, but they're waiting for a rush of foreclosures as well as short sales. So they are in the wings, ready to pick up primarily single family homes. But I mean, a lot of, in my experience, even listing them and dealing with asset managers and the banks, a lot of times, you can't even go direct to an asset manager and buy the property. They want to see it on the open market, based on my experience. And so a lot of these listing agents, they wind up listing a lot of REO properties. And a lot of times they're from different areas. Prime example, I put an offer on the other day on an REO in this one community, and there's a lot of inaccuracies because this person, this real estate broker, even though they're a broker in Florida, they were, an hour and a half away from our area. So there was a lot of inaccuracies. The property went in. Prime example, if I had it listed for the seller for the bank, we probably would have gotten maybe 15, 20 grand higher just because of the inaccuracy. So I would say as an investor, because I'm always looking at properties, look for those inaccuracies. Even if you're looking on MLS or Realtor.com or whatever, when these properties come to market, don't be so strict on your criteria. If you want a 3-bedroom, I wouldn't put 3-bedroom or more, or even 2 and a den or more, because some of these properties, they do have 3 bedrooms, but they're listed as a 2-bedroom. So there's kind of those diamonds in the rough that people, I think, that ultimately miss.
Okay. So if we had to start from like the basic beginner, we got, mom and pop, they own a bakery. They don't want to go in the stock market. They're scared. They know they want to buy a rental property, maybe do an Airbnb like you've been doing. What should they do to get discounted properties through REOs? Like, how do you walk them through that process?
I mean, like I said, I think a lot of them are on the market. So I would make sure that you hire a good real estate agent that's going to look out for your interest, unless this is a full-time thing for you and you can do it on your own. But it's good to have one good agent, whatever area that you're looking at. And in my experience, and I know with you guys and wholesaling and everything else, it is a numbers game. So you want to make sure that you're buying right. If you're not buying right, then you're kind of, not necessarily wasting your time, but ultimately you want to have an exit strategy on that property as well and sell it for a profit. So I would just say don't be emotional with real estate, because it's not going to love you back.
Definitely not. So in regards to your business now, so you said you're still buying properties. I mean, we're in your business right now, because you got lots of passive income coming through, but for the average house you're buying now, what are you doing with it? Are they rentals, Airbnbs? What's your play?
Actually, I downsized. I sold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been selling because I think that right now, and again, this is just my opinion, I think the market's high, and I've been liquidating. So I've downsized considerably, and I'm kind of I'm still putting offers out there, but I'm not getting anything because all the sellers are pretty outrageous.
I can tell you right now, I'm seeing properties that I'm putting under contract, buying it, putting it back on the market, disgusting amounts. I mean, I haven't been in this business as long as you have, but since 2002, just checking out Florida, I mean, it's insane. Where I'm at, numbers have not even hit the peak that what it did in 2005. So again, I don't know what's going to go on, but it's going a little crazy right now. But I mean, so you're holding on, you're basically selling some more properties. I mean, what's your crystal ball, Nostradamus type predictions for Florida and the United States when it comes to real estate in the market?
Well, as you know, I mean, you're over on the East Coast of Florida, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So as you know, Florida, especially along the coast, it's pretty cyclical. And, I don't know how bad it was over on your coast, but, when the market crashed, we got destroyed. And, I see a lot of properties that are, supposed to be affordable for people. And I just don't see it with the prices that they're paying for some of these properties in certain areas. And that, to me, is a red flag. And also I saw when the market crashed, and a lot of people don't talk about this, I saw rent rates decrease because of simple supply and demand. There was so much more properties coming to market for rent, which brought down the rent rates. So landlords, instead of getting, $1,600 a month, their tenants would move out. They would try to get another tenant in place, and then they were getting $1,200 a month. So I'm very cautious right now in this market, and even when I run numbers, and I've transitioned into more vacation rental properties. I like them because you can use them. I'm just very cautious on running my rental income numbers because, especially for annual rentals, if something's running for, $1,500, I'm still taking 70-80% of that as the real revenue.
Yeah. Okay. And so what percentage of your properties you own now that are vacation versus regular?
I'm down to 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're vacation.
Okay. And are you trying to load up in the future when if something happens? Not if, when, but
yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All righty. And can you tell me a little more about basically your business now and like what you're doing? I know you got a lot of passive income coming through. You started making money on YouTube. Like what's your business looking now and where are you trying to be in the future?
I mean, I preach a lot on, financial freedom and, when you can achieve financial freedom, your life changes. And when I hit that, now I'm like, I have a lot of drive in me. So I got to channel that energy somewhere wise. It's been, more of my time has been going into the online markets because, or online income, because I see a lot of potential there, and I'm already seeing the income streams from it as well. So I've been putting more time and money into that aspect of things, even hiring some people to help out. So it is an investment, and a lot of it, once it's set up, it does become passive. So that's where I've been spending more of my time. It's again, when I don't have any debt or anything like that, and I've achieved financial freedom, so it doesn't cost me anything to live. And I'm able to, I live over on Bonita Beach, so I'm able to spend more time, really just brainstorming and thinking, and take a walk on the beach and really start to figure out the next strategy for certain things. And, don't get me wrong, I love real estate and I'm always going to buy into real estate. But, prime example, I signed up with a mentorship through this company, and it's through FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. And I'm throwing some time and money at that. And it's, if you can put in, if you can double your money, then it's a win. So if you can do that, whether it's real estate or a product, then I'm going to go after it. And something big for me too is I got a condo over in Fort Lauderdale, and I want to spend some more time over there. I want to spend some time traveling around as well, looking at other real estate. We're going to go out to Bimini when that opens up in the Bahamas and take a look at some vacation rental properties out there. And I want to have the ability to, not be restricted physically where I'm at. You know how it is when you're driving around, finding properties, driving for dollars or whatever the case is, or you're a real estate agent, you're helping somebody buy or sell. Boots are on the ground here. And I don't want to set myself up where I have to be somewhere physically. So that's been my whole approach.
All right. And it's rare for me sometimes to find someone in real estate because I'm in kind of my space that everyone's started 2012 or like sooner, and they haven't really been through a lot of the recessions, a lot of the mess. You've had agents, you've been in real estate for a while. The question I really have for you is, like, you're going to buy some more properties and make a boatload of money. As Warren Buffett says, buy when there's blood in the streets.
Yeah.
When do you know when to buy and when not to? Because, for example, St. Lucie County, about 50 to 60% of all homes are rentals. And so real estate went down 40 to 50%. And there's sales going on everywhere. Like, how do you know when real estate goes down? 10% are you going to buy, 20%, 30%? Like, what's your play on buying properties once you know real estate's starting to go down in a crash?
I think
it's a tough one.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the art and science associated with it. I think the bigger thing is not even necessarily the value. Obviously, value has a really big consideration associated with it. It's, do the numbers work, and do they work really well? You know, based on the income and expenses associated with the property. And if the value obviously is too high and you're running your numbers based on the projected income or the current income and it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I think when you get to that certain point, like prime example, we were selling houses in Cape Coral, almost brand new 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,500 square foot houses in the low of the market in Cape Coral as well as Lehigh for 40 to 60 grand. I mean, it was insane. When it went under 100 grand, even though it went all the way down to 60, I would have been buying. I did in some cases, I would have been buying at 190, 80. I would have taken the ride all the way down because I knew the cost to replace those properties wasn't even there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, where can you buy a lot, construct basically a brand new house for 100 grand or 80 grand or 60 grand? Like, good luck. The cost to replace that is going to be maybe 150 or 160. So I just looked at it like the cost to replace those homes, you know, it just wasn't there. So you're getting these homes on a crazy discount.
Wow. That's good. That's a good way to think about it. I mean, if anything goes under 100 where I'm at, I'll get it. I think I got one house under contract this year for 100, and that was it. But so another thing about you and your channel, which I love, is that like you live the beach lifestyle. Like, you're on the beach, you got the financial freedom, mostly everyone's dream. So what would your advice be for a lot of younger people get into real estate because they don't like bosses, they want to control their own destiny, and, you know, eventually live on a condo on the beach and just chill out?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your rules or your plan? Because I mean, it's almost an 18-year journey for you. I mean, what's your advice for a young guy that's trying to get what you're doing? Like, what would you tell him to do?
If I have to sum it up, house hack.
Yeah.
Like, figure out how to live for free and don't be dumb. Like, it's easy to say, you know what, I want this. You know, the only reason why I'm in this condo is because I bought it cash. You know what I mean? Like, other than that, I wouldn't have a $400,000 mortgage on this place. It's just not, that doesn't make sense to me, right? And other people are going to say, you know, you could use that 400 grand and make money on that 400 grand, whatever the case is. But I like that foundation. But for anybody listening to this or watching this, I would, the biggest thing is figure out house hacking. Like, dive deep into it. I've done a couple videos on my channel as well. But basically, like, the first house that I bought it with a FHA loan, 3.5% down, and I filled it up with all my college buddies, and I lived rent free. And they pay. I didn't even pay any utilities or anything. They paid for everything. So I was living free way early on, and I was like, that's the key, because, you know, if it costs you rent or mortgage $1,500 a month, that $1,500 a month just kind of ties your hands, and you could utilize that $1,500 a month to grow your portfolio, to grow into, you know, real estate investments and so forth. So I think too many people live way above their means. They finance everything. You know, my entire life I had one car payment, and after that I was like, when that was done, I was like, I'm never making that mistake again. And unfortunately, because people want to show off or look flashy or whatever, they leverage themselves to their eyeballs and they never get ahead. And then when shit does take a turn, they're sitting in bad shape. And when the market crashed, like, we pivoted. We went after REOs, we went after short sales, we went after BPOs, we went after property management. We had to pivot in our business to survive. And by the way, I have courses on all those as well. But we had to pivot, and there were literally real estate brokerages chaining up their doors, and real estate agents are showing up and no communication. And they're like, my broker and brokers just went out of business. So unintentionally, we started recruiting agents because of that. Anyway, full circle is just because people were not smart with the money that they had. So it forced them out of business.
Okay, so is there a rule basically? I mean, I hate to call it a rule, but like, do you have to have a certain amount of passive income before you can basically, live off the land per se with financial freedom, or what's your kind of logic with that?
Mine was basically just understanding what it cost me to live. I looked at that number every day. That's everything. And I have all sorts of spreadsheets that I work off of. But my cost of living, I wanted to eliminate that. So I looked at it every day. And every time anything passive that would offset that, it would bring it down and down and down, and then eventually eliminated it. So if it costs you $2,000 a month, what are you going to do? What are you going to invest into that's going to pay you $2,000 a month? And it's as simple as that. I don't. I wish that I was taught more about money when I was growing up or whatever, and most of us aren't. So I'm glad that you're doing your channel as well, because, at the end of the day, it's learning about money and financial freedom. It's a simple concept, but it's very emotional for people because they make emotional, dumb decisions like going out and financing a Maserati and paying $900 a month or whatever,
I agree. You go down to Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I mean, it's all a dog and shoney po over there, but
really
keep up with the Joneses. But man, that's awesome. So if someone wanted to get a hold of you, maybe see how I could list a REO, because I mean, in my opinion, if I was just me as a wholesaler, I mean, I think my dad's dealt with this, done this too. If the market crashes, I'm going straight to short sales. I'm dealing with all that pre-foreclosures. I think realtors need to do the same thing. I think there's too many realtors out there too that just aren't. They think the sky. I mean, the charts of real estate are just going to go up forever. List, make money. List, make money. List, make money. They haven't really sold at realtors much. I mean, their clients much. They just give them a price and list it. I mean, what would your advice be for someone trying to learn what to do? God forbid, or hopefully for you, the real estate crashes for a realtor. How can they get educated?
Right now, selling real estate is so easy. It's taking orders and then, if you list a property, you're putting it up on the market, and if it's priced somewhat decent, it's selling. And that's exactly what I saw right before the last crash. So I think a lot of writing's on the wall. We have courses on all this. Actually, the last one I'm creating right now, it's on property management and leasing. That'll be out probably in the next 2 weeks. And that was huge. I mean, that in the market crash, that division, it was just my sister and I, that division accounted for $100,000 every single year when the market was completely crashed out. But we went after and got all the training and everything else. Short sales, we did, I think I listed over 350, 370 short sales, not including all the people that are agents that were under me that I was teaching and helping. And then I had somebody doing BPOs, broker price opinions, where that's good because you can get that consistent small chunks of revenue in quick. And then listing REOs, I think we did only about 60. Asset managers are very tough to work with. They're very demanding. So, and I'm a very independent kind of guy. So eventually I had to just kind of give that up, but we did about 60 or 70 of those. So I did create these mini courses, niche courses, that if the market does crash, like everybody right now should be learning to pivot, because this what goes up goes back down, and I think anybody that thinks it won't is just fooling themselves. So I have all those courses listed in any of the videos, but they're cheap. I got them all at $50, and there's discount codes and everything else, so they're super cheap for what you could make a business into. And we've made several hundreds of thousands of dollars annually doing all of those strategies.
Wow. And what's your website for people to go see it?
SteveInvests.com.
All right, sweet. And so a question I got for you here is kind of for realtors, I guess. I mean, you've been in the business for a while. Just because of how easy it is to sell real estate, it's easy for anyone to use any realtor. So as a realtor, how do you, what's the difference between you getting a deal with a client versus just a regular Joe Schmo saying they'll list the price for $200,000? Like, if you got a million realtors going after one person, how do you get the seller to go with you?
I think a lot of real estate agents are part-time.
Yeah.
And, that's the number one question that sales is a series of questions to get you to your desired end result. So with any client, it doesn't matter who or what it is, but, for example, a real estate seller, you just got to ask the necessary questions. And, I'm very upfront. So I would ask, what agents are you considering on going to work for you, and find out, if they're part-time, if they're full-time. But yeah, it's about asking questions and building the rapport with anybody, and asking the right questions. People have to learn how to close, and there is a lot of competition for real estate agents. And if they're not hustling, and also keeping your pipeline filled, if you're relying on that one deal or just a handful of deals, it is in wholesaling and anything else. It's a numbers game. You got to keep going after it and building that pipeline. If not, you're not going to hit the numbers that you want to hit.
Yeah. And another fun question I always ask everyone is, you've been in the business for a while. What's your craziest real estate story?
Couple of strange females that, really, I don't even want to say it on your show but it was
I don't care.
Kind of graphic. One lady specifically, she's married. I met with her and her husband, and out of nowhere, she's trying to kiss me when he wasn't around, and I'm like, and grab me in certain areas, and I'm like, and literally, I had to terminate the listing because of that, because her husband's gonna pull a gun on me and kill me. I wanted to get far away from that.
When was this?
What's that?
When was that?
That was probably back in 2010.
Oh, wow.
maybe a little earlier. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Showing real estate, if you work with enough real estate buyers, you walk into certain situations. We walked into people in the shower and stuff like that, One specifically that I took a foreclosure listing, and there's a concept cash for keys. And, basically you're providing cash for whether it's a tenant or a squatter or the previous owner. And yeah, you guys know it. And I approached this house and knew somebody was living in there, reported the asset manager, went back out there the next day. She told me to offer cash for keys. I knocked on the door, and this dude had a shotgun in his hand. And it wasn't pointed right at me, but he was like, "Get the F off my property." And I was just like, "Relax, dude. I'm here to give you money. If you don't want money, then I'll walk my ass out of here." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" So money talks, and we eventually, I think we got him like $3 or $4 grand to get out of the property.
Wow.
In 10 days.
I'm like 400.
Yeah. Well, the banks will pay. They'll definitely pay. And I feel bad for the people too. So I personally was like, let's get them more money. You know, the guy, I think he was happy with like $1,500, but I still went back to the bank and was like, you know, let's hook them up. So, and you know, it sucks, man. People, you know, short sales and foreclosures, it's a bad time for a lot of people, and then it's a good time for the investors. And there's that fine line. And I know with you guys investing in real estate, you see that people are on hard times and they got to sell their properties, they got to unload them or whatever the case is. So you gotta take care of people, you know, especially when they're in a vulnerable position.
I agree. I mean, that's a crazy story. I mean, I always ask people that because I want people to understand, like, what's a crazy story? What would you do if that happened to you? Having a gun pulled on you, jeez, that's rough. But what would you say was the biggest deal you've ever done?
Nothing too crazy. A couple $1,000,000. I got heavily involved into selling mobile home parks, and I think maybe on a commercial realm, maybe 2.9. We had a big one in contract for 7.9. That never came to fruition after literally a year working on it. It fell apart, but I'd say, yeah, I mean, residential, a couple $1,000,000, and then commercial close to, I'd say 3.
Wow. So I really appreciate you coming on, sharing your plethora of knowledge. If someone wants to get a hold of you, someone wants to, you know, see your course, follow you, subscribe, like, where would people go?
I'd say check out the YouTube channel, Steve Invests, or go to steveinvests.com. And, you know, you guys can get a hold of me there, and I'm happy to help out. There's a lot of good information on there for real estate agents. But the YouTube channel, I would say, has more for investing, financial freedom, making money online, like all about investing for you know, the better for people.
All right, great. And one last question here. I just saw this. So TXCS, not sure if I missed it, but what's the average amount of time do you spend on deals? You mentioned most real estate agents are part-time.
Average amount of time spent on deals, like,
I guess working, I don't know, getting listings.
I mean, listings, I used to cold call 3 hours a day every morning. So that was just cold calling. That wasn't going on appointments and everything else. I mean, I tried to go on a listing appointment at least once a day, and a lot of times they were after 5 o'clock. So, you know, if you add it all up, it's, you know, it's a decent amount of time. You gotta put the time in to get the gravy, you know?
Oh yeah. I definitely appreciate you coming on, Steve. Is there any parting thoughts you have for the guests before we sign off?
No, man, I appreciate it. And, you know, if you guys want to do this again or have further questions, let me know.
Boom.